So we've got some wood here, as modelled by our lovely Samantha. She is holding a nice big long 4 metre length of timber that we've taken out of our ceilings, which is pretty amazing. This hardwood is just rock solid. I'm trying to cut it and grade it so that we can reuse it for some of the framing here, and man almighty is it hard work to cut this stuff just to try and straighten it. It's so strong, it's so old. Hardwood is one of those amazing species where the longer it lasts, the harder it gets. So it just condenses and gets thinner over time and actually gets stronger over time as well. So the strength rating of this stuff is just amazing. Structurally we use it today, in houses we wouldn't bother because it's just way too hard to work with and it's kind of overkill.
And expensive. And
very expensive. But for us, for what we need it for, it's great. We're going to get our full length height ceiling. We're going to get continuous runs because the long old ceiling joists of these are the perfect height to get us to our ceiling heights, which is great. So we'll be able to frame a continuously long wall all the way up to the ceiling, all the way along the hallway. We'll be able to get it nice and straight. It's going to be nice and strong. It's going to help brace the rest of the house as well. It's a bit flimsy at the moment, so we've got a bit of work to do there, which we'll sort of explain in some more further videos about how they used to build these sort of houses and what we need to do to get it up to sort of a really adequate structural rating now. Like there's no lateral support in the ceiling whatsoever. So anyway, we'll brush on that a little bit later, but anyway, let's get stuck into cutting some of this timber and start framing this wall up.
For anyone who's wondering, because we never mentioned it, Brad is a carpenter. And we've been noticing some comments about things, and that's fine. Comment away.
Everybody's allowed an opinion.
Of course. No, but Brad is a qualified carpenter, works for a commercial builder, so he knows what he's doing, and we would never say do as we do. We're here to inspire.
That's right.
And we're testing in our own home, but we know what we're doing while Brad does. And I'm here as a...
moral support.
You know, as a... what's the one that works when they just start?
An apprentice.
Yeah.
Knacker bags.
What's knacker bags?
You know, a nail belt, knacker bags. We call apprentices knackers.
This is why we can like work with structural parts of the home, and why we can kind of play in spaces where you need a bit of knowledge, is because Brad does know what he's doing, so don't worry. The house isn't going to fall down.
No, it's not. But it is a good point. You really need to know what you're doing in these sort of spaces. It's something that you can't really take lightly. I have over 10 years of experience working with frames and structural, you know, all my daily dealings with engineers, so I'm well adversed in this area. So we definitely are going in with our eyes wide open here, and we know what we're looking at. So, but as I said, otherwise everyone's allowed their opinion, and there's always more to learn, and there's so many ways to do things as well. That's not to say that there is no right or wrong way to do things.
There's definitely so many ways.
A better way of doing things.
And of course, behind the scenes, there is a lot of time that we put in planning, thinking, looking at the program, looking at what order we do things, how we do it in the safest way possible. We make sure that we meet all regulations and get in service trades when we need to, but we also make sure we meet cancel regulations. But putting that on camera would be incredibly boring for everybody, so we're not going to do that. But we do make sure we meet all of those things, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, with that in mind...
Little PSA there.
With that in mind, let's crack on.
Alright, so all the timbers are all cut now. Everything's nice and straight-ish. Our timbers are still pretty wonky, but at least they're within, 3 to 5 mil. I know that's really bad, but it's as close as we can get for this old wonky timber. But I've got a lot of it ready to go. So yesterday I finished grading all the timber, getting it nice and straight-ish, and getting the wall plates down as well. And the top plate, you can kind of see the new one maybe up there somewhere. The new top plates are up, ready to go. So we can't conventionally stand this frame because we just don't have the height to build it all on the ground, stand it up like you usually would. So for big raked roofs, we're just going to literally do stick by stick, move our way all the way across, cut every individual stud by itself, install it individually, and then go through and then straighten the whole lot with all the noggins, and then it'll be braced and ready to be fully straightened after that point. So this wood is just so incredibly hard to work with. So things take twice as long to do because it's just so strong. It does not cut like normal pine, and luckily I put a new blade on the saw, so it's cutting it pretty smoothly, but just in general working with it is so much harder than just our standard pine that we build houses with today. So a little bit more slow going, but it means that we're going to have a really strong frame, and when it's nice and straight, it's going to be super structural, it's going to be really supportive. Even though this wall in itself isn't actually a load bearing wall, it is going lengthways with one of the rafters, so it's not really picking up anything. However, it's going to give us a nice strong line that's going to be our new hallway wall. So let's get building this wall.
Can't believe we're getting our walls. It's really highlighted how tall our ceilings are.
Go down there.
Wow, I'm so excited. It feels like a room.
And now we've finally finished our full set of studs that go all the way across the hallway through here. Samantha's just cutting some timbers up.
It's not plugged in?
No, it's not plugged in, I've unplugged it, that's why.
You've unplugged it?
Yeah, because I've taken it out of the vacuum. Anywho, so here are our full length studs. Samantha's chopping up some extra timbers that I've from the ripped timbers from the studs. They're the loft cuts there, so we're going to use those as firewood or packers or something like that. And then I'm going to go into the shed and rip the rest of the timbers down for our noggins. And now Samantha's going to go through and measure up all of our noggin lengths so that she can start pre-cutting some of those.
Getting some noggins.
And then we'll start to frame that up, which will give us a whole heap of strength to this wall. And then we can finally plumb this side of the house and also brace that side of the house because it's pretty loose at the moment.
But what has blown me away is the wall scale, because this is the first time we have been able to see the scale of how tall this wall will be. Because if you remember, if you watched some of our earlier videos, you'll know that the ceiling was quite low when we acquired this house. And we ripped out the ceilings, and so to see the scale of the wall is kind of mind-blowing. That's all I have to say. So, the plan is that I am going to cut this wood into the noggins, so measure in between each of the studs, and then Brad is busy installing the noggins. It's super hardwood, so it takes a bit of effort to get them in, but it's good to have some strong wood. So I'm going to get cutting and Brad's going to get installing. It's a dream team. was a good boy.
It's the hallway we always knew we had but didn't. Now we do.
We dreamt of this hallway. So the wall is
Built.
Not straightened,
But built.
but built. So all the noggins are in.
It's upright. It's not flat, but it's up.
Hooray! It makes quite a difference. It's the first time we're able to see what the space will
This
look
whole
like.
huge hallway that we have now.
Obviously, in the future and stage like 2, we'll knock down the back, so the hallway will continue right through. But because we're staging it, we do need to leave it up for now. But it's very exciting. We can see the scale of the wall. Like, she big.
She's tall, alright.
She big.
There's a lot of timber, and we used up every single length of long, straight timber that we had in the shed that we took out of the old ceiling. So that's pretty amazing.
It's incredible.
That we were able to reuse absolutely everything. Cut it all, straightened it all to a point. We still need to plane it all flat, but we were able to get the whole lot done with everything that we had in the shed. So I haven't bought a stick of timber for this house yet. It's been pretty awesome.
And like, if you're thinking about upcycling old material, doable. It just takes
be prepared
time
for a bit of time
and work, right? Like, it's fiddly stuff, but oh my goodness, it's such beautiful hardwood.
it looks amazing.
So worth saving.
Put a bit of clear coat on it and done.
Oh, don't even plaster. It's fine. Who needs privacy?
Yeah, no, it is beautiful timber.
Yeah.
It's so strong. It's stunning. It's
I'm
amazing.
so glad that we were able to upcycle it. Like, most people, I think, probably would have just chucked it all because it's so much work and, you know, it does slow down the process. But for us,
it's all good stuff.
all good stuff, and we use what we can.
So today we're going to be rebuilding a couple of these walls. I sort of battled with how we were going to tackle this. They're super out of plumb. Like, over 3 meters, they're 20 mil out of plumb. So that is just a big old no-no. We can't even pack it. It's just way too much effort. Plus, the old way that they built these things is just not structural at all.
Shall I show?
Yeah, I
Hang
think
on.
so.
I'm gonna pick up the camera.
Up top, you can see that they've just put little extension studs on top. But that's a bit of a big issue because there's no lateral stability whatsoever. So there's nothing stopping this section from just tipping to one side, which I think it already is doing. So it's just all over the place. The timbers, everything's all pretty wonky. So we're just going to prop behind this because this is a load-bearing wall. So we're going to just prop the rafters behind this. We're going to pull the whole wall down and then just rebuild it out of some new pine. It's a bit of a... Like, these aren't long enough to reuse anyway, but there will be other areas in the house where we will be able to use this timber, whether it's furniture or maybe some of the walls in the back of the house. But for now, it's just a more effective way to do this and just build it out of new timber. So we're going to be pulling this one down, and we're going to be pulling old Mr. Flamey Flame over here.
The burnt wonder.
The burnt timbers.
So, to remind you, if you haven't seen our previous videos, these ones are burnt to a crisp. You can see the charcoal along the tops here, and they are pretty fried.
They're pretty bad. So same thing again, this wall's like 15, 20 mil, even like over this height. It's just so out of plumb. So this isn't a load bearing wall. So what we're going to do here is literally we're just going to pull the whole thing down and reframe it. And then that means that we can finish plaster this side of the hallway. It'll be nice and flat. And then we'll just leave the inside until we get to stage 3 of the reno, which is going to be the master suite. And we'll just leave it till then, but at least then this whole wall will be nice and new and nice and straight.
So to remind anyone who hasn't seen our other videos, this is our current kitchen that we're using. But this will become, as Brad says, our primary bedroom. But we do need to use it as a kitchen until the back half of the house is done. So we're trying to kind of get our mind around how the phases work, because walls will need to move and some walls can't move until certain phases. So it's a bit of a puzzle, but this is one that we need to take down. And will the opening just be the new size of our new door?
It'll be the new double doors for the bedroom, but it'll be finished on the inside of the hallway. But then on the inside of the kitchen, which is the new bedroom, will just be completely empty. Bare walls until we get to that part of the project. So.
Yeah, so lots of forethought, but luckily we've planned as much as we can. I'm sure mistakes will be made.
There'll be things that catch us out, but anyway, that's fine.
We're going to do the best that we can. Exactly right. So with that in mind, let's get going.
Done. So we're done. As you can see, there's now no wall behind me. So we've got our props up behind here before we took the wall down. It's just help span the roof. It's super lightweight, so it doesn't really need much support, but just to help it stay upright, drop the wall in the middle, and then we're just gonna get to this next one, which is the burnt kitchen one. So we're just gonna knock this one down. Same thing, we'll put in another little couple of props just in case, and then we'll start to take it out piece by piece, and then it's off to Bunnings to buy some new timber. So one down, one to go. Alright, so the kitchen wall's completely demolished now, and earlier in the day we did the one behind us, so now we're ready to start reframing them. I have bought some new timber, just some pine framing. It's so much easier to work with, so much straighter off the rack, don't have to worry about cutting it down like all this old hardwood that we reused, so this is going to be a much faster process. Just kind of have to pick your battles with this one. It's really nice to reuse old timber, but for the sake of just getting this done a little bit quicker, and look, it could literally save us an entire day's worth of work, just framing it up out of pine and then planing it down and straightening it with pine. It's so much easier. So anyway, I'm going to make a start on the bedroom wall here, and then I'm going to get to the kitchen one. So here we go. Last wall of the day to go. We've got our kitchen wall behind us, which is, I've just got a top and bottom plate shot off now, so I've got a plumb line to work through. I'm going to just quickly fire that one off before it gets too late. We start to piss off some of the neighbours. But just to my right over here, we've got our other bedroom wall, which is completely built now, so that's super strong. I love how quickly that went up. So much easier to work with than this hardwood, but we're almost ready to start planing that and then brace it and do the same thing to this wall. So we're going to get stuck into this one before it gets too late.